what is the accountant's role in ESG?
So it's an interesting time, and I think the answer is evolving, but what I would say is, as experts in process, control points, and knowledge of how processes, policies, and systems work, we have the aptitude and skill set to immediately apply it, because what we're really looking at is a lot of collective data that needs to be reported very concisely, and the investor and stakeholders want transparency, which accounting's good at that. We've been doing financial reporting for years.
In your opinion, what is the accountant's role in assessing risk with ESG strategy?
So there's several roles we play depending on whether you work within the company or as an external auditor in public accounting. Certainly as we start to move disclosures into our public filings, and hopefully as one report to make it easier, hopefully we'll have external auditors who are assuring over those numbers, and they're preparing to do that right now. Internal to the organization, you're really the test case to make sure that you are reporting what's required and that it's accurate and complete.
How can an accountant untangle the complexity of ESG for their organizations?
Yeah, I think there's several ways, but I think a primary effort initially in this time period where we're all figuring out what all we do need to report and gather is to absolutely document what are our reporting, what numbers do we have, where's the data coming from, what systems is it in, does it have good integrity and quality so that we know what we're reporting, and those are all things we can absolutely apply knowledge to at the moment.
How can an accountant embed trust in the ESG process?
I think there's a couple of ways, but primarily my company, for example, we're already doing limited assurance over our greenhouse gas reporting in several other areas, and we're starting to look in other matters as well. And that is absolutely a place where we're very comfortable with giving assurance over reporting. So I can see us growing that role, and I think there's an opportunity for some firms to add skill sets and talent to their portfolio of services that they can provide as well. Internal to an organization, absolutely there's some assurance we can provide. For example, taking a company's ESG report and actually doing the testing and tying it all down and making sure all the claims are supported and well documented.
Wow. Have you done any sensing around stakeholders, and what are they expecting?
Yeah, absolutely. We do an annual enterprise risk assessment where we break down some of those risks to the company, including what climate could do. So in order to enhance our thinking around those risks, we did a climate risk assessment. We've recently done a materiality assessment, which is where you poll all your stakeholders, so employees, customers, suppliers down our supply chain, as well as investors, to ask them what they cared about. Were we doing the right things? What was our messaging? Was our messaging clear to the stakeholders? And we got some very good feedback from that. And we've moved forward in trying to make sure that emboldens our communication and what we're paying attention to.
So how do you turn ESG ideas into real-world solutions?
That's a great question. I think if you embed what we're trying to accomplish both around DE&I and reporting for climate change, for example, all of that makes a difference in how we as companies behave in the marketplace and what the stakeholders in the market want. And so if we embed it in our decision-making processes, capital expenditures for an example, why not make sure that you're buying the best thing for the climate as well?